Guys, we are in absolute pain. The Moondrop Alice, we had a lot of expectations, but we are in physical, spiritual, and emotional pain. Goedendag, weer DHRME. Damn, headphones ruined my eardrums.
It's not a secret that wireless earbuds are a convenience product first and foremost, and an audio product second. So while you can have great sounding products that only sound good and do nothing else, there is still a certain level of basics that we expect. And that's why this is quite a painful video for us to make. We were very excited to get the Moondrop Alice, and we weren't the only ones. What we're especially excited about was the fact that it had drivers from the Moondrop Kato, which are one of the best sounding IEMs at $200, or so we're told. But let's start with the basics.
And Moondrop has gotten a lot wrong here. Starting with the build and the portability of the case, this is not great for 2022. The case is big, and if that's not enough for you, you also get a case for the case. I suppose you don't have to use it if you don't want to, so that's not really a criticism of the product as such. The earbuds are also on the larger side, and I spent about 15 minutes trying to figure out how they go into my ear. I thought these were more of a Sony WF-1000XM3 kind of style, but turns out these are more of a thick boy AirPods kind of design. You get two kinds of tips in the box, spring tips and these clear tips. Unfortunately, this is kind of a deeper insertion IEM, and one where I've been struggling to find the right tip size for my ear. When I did find the right size, I struggled to figure out the software. I downloaded the official app from the Play Store. After another struggle with it for about 15 minutes, I googled only to find that the side-loaded app works apparently better than the official app. So at the risk of losing all my private data, I downloaded an APK which asked me to download another APK from a site that was half in Chinese. And then after about 10 more minutes of struggling, the Moondrop Alice finally updated to its latest firmware 1.2.0. Great, we were now ready to go. Unfortunately, when the going got tough. We faced constant disconnects from the phone. The sound would randomly change in the middle of watching a video. The lady announcing that the earbuds were connected or disconnected seemed to be rather mad at us. And last but not least, we had to tap different Chinese words to figure out where the powerful parametric EQ of the Moondrop Alice resided. These can do touch control, but the touch was quite sensitive and definitely feels like it's something from 2016 rather than from 2022. The battery life is decent, 8 hours with about 40 from the case. But remember, these have zero extras, no ANC, no transparency, no in-ear sensor to pause your music, and no ability to even change what the touch controls do. No IP rating, so control your sweat glands, people. Heck, there's no wireless charging or even fast charging on board. And what about calls? Take a listen for yourself. All right, these are the microphones on the Moondrop Alice in quiet conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. The Moondrop Alice with noisy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. So now we have the Moondrop Alice in windy, breezy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Well, the best thing about these mics are that they exist. In quiet conditions, these are okay, but there's some noise if you pay attention. It's usable in a pinch. If it's noisy outside, everyone you talk will know it's noisy outside. And if there's a bit of wind, no one's going to be able to hear what you have to say. Moondrop saying that this is sound and no gimmicks is like selling you great looking sneakers with no sole. You have gotta nail the basics, otherwise an audio product just doesn't make any sense. I don't care what kind of file you are. So fine, you want to know about the sound, right? So let's start with the bass. Well, because we really struggled with getting any kind of bass response in everyday use. Because A, these are already neutral audiophile buds, so not particularly tuned for bass. And B, the fit of these buds is different. After hurting and violating myself for quite a while, I figured out that you had to twist the stems forward. To be fair, this was more my stupidity than the fault of the Moondrops. I was really struggling to hear the sub bass before I figured this out. I mean, I remember when we reviewed the Final ZE3000, we thought that those were a little light on bass, but when I tried to A/B test these, the Finals seemed almost like bass monsters. The good thing here is that you can get some solid bass, but you're gonna have to dig into that not very user-friendly but super powerful parametric EQ. The technical performance on these is insane. I myself found that I missed the bass punch though. Boosting the 50 to 80 Hz range gave the sound some much needed weight. Even then, do not expect JBL or Jabra kinds of sounds here. This is not that kind of earbud. The rest of the sound on these earbuds is very solid, and there's a certain Moondrop character to the sound that affects the timbre a little. It has to do with a slight peak in the lower treble. But we're nitpicking here. The mids especially do a fantastic job. Voices sound clear and they do a good job of being neutral with a slight bias towards brightness while still avoiding being annoyingly sibilant. Something like Nat King Cole's Orange Colored Sky sounds great, and so does Misha Mansoor's solo project Bulb's Foof Redux, I don't know how you pronounce that. A very busy track with a lot of things constantly going on and changing. It doesn't sound as crowded as it does on some other earbuds. These are also loud, so for you volume junkies / hard of hearing / masochistic viewers, you're gonna love these. They also have a nice virtual soundstage algorithm that you can get to by long pressing the buds, which we thought wasn't as extreme as Apple or Samsung's implementation, but adds a nice little bit of width to the sound. Look, when we thought of writing this review, we started with giving the Alice quite a bashing. I mean, the first part of this video is that there are so many things it gets wrong, but sound is not one of them. Together with capable drivers, a solid codec, and a fussy but powerful parametric EQ, you can do a lot with these. For us, these are not a super fun experience, but closer to a neutral or clean experience. They also sound a smidgen cleaner than the Final Audio ZE3000, but the Final Audio is cleaner in terms of its noise floor. So if you listen to music at lower volumes, you're not going to get as much white noise as from the Alice. The Final Audio also has more bass, and you know, when we reviewed it, we said these were not bassy for you bass lovers, but it still has more bass than the Alice. On the other hand, the Final Audio is less flexible due to the lack of a first-party app and any kind of EQ configuration. But since we're talking about these two products as a product, the Final ZE3000 is easily the better pick. A compact case, lighter and more comfortable, more reliable touch controls, and way less buggy and glitchy than the Moondrop. If you want earbuds that just do sound, maybe the Moondrop Alice is good.
But if you'll indulge us, why not consider the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 Pro? Or the Oppo Enco X2, or even the older Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro, or any of the buds we talked about in this video. These are also very good sounding buds, but give you so much more for about the same price or a bit more. True wireless earbuds are about portability, convenience, comfort, and are meant to be used out and about in the world, to shut out the world using noise cancelling or talk to it using transparency or microphones. When it's late in the evening and you sit down at home with your drink and listen to music, get a fat amp and a DAC stack with a wired set of IEMs or wired headphones or speakers and audio file away. But remember that wireless audio is getting really good, as is evidenced by all these audiophile brands entering this space. So why bother with a one-trick pony?
Moondrop has brought the sound. Now it just needs to bring everything else. You've been feeling the pain of Alice, and we've been DHRME. Namaste.